No, it's not whiskey or bourbon. It's just cream soda. What's up, dude? Welcome back to a new video. So I uploaded a video a few days ago, maybe a week ago. It's a kind of a cinematography practice session that I put together when it was like 4 a.m. I just threw it together because I thought it would be fun. It's a little exercise that I thought would be enjoyable to do, and I thought it turned out pretty well, so I uploaded it, and it seems like a few of you guys liked it, so I thought I'd do a breakdown of it. And that's not true. I got like 100 views, but anyways, I wanted to do a breakdown of it because I wanted to tell you guys basically how to get cinematic lighting, how to do cinematography with just one cheap, simple solution. The gear that I used was under 200 bucks. It was a Godox SL60W, which is a light that I've done a review on in the past. A big white piece of something or other. It's just a big white piece of like cardboard paper, I don't know, flimsy cardboard, a sheet of diffusion that I got on Amazon for probably like 30 bucks, and another flimsy piece of cardboard that was black, so I used it as a flag. So let's take a look at some of the shots. If you didn't see the video, go watch it now. It's on my YouTube channel. So like I said, everything in this video was shot with one light. That's not true. There was one specific shot I made with two lights, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But still under like 200 bucks. So this first shot here is me in my bed lying down. You can see kind of, maybe not really understand where the light is coming from in this shot, in this situation. If we look at where the camera is, camera right is where the light is, right behind this door. It kind of just looks like a black rectangle in the frame. It's just foreground that I use. It's a door that I placed in the foreground. You can kind of see the doorknob up in the top right. Yeah, this first shot is just basically a light bouncing into a white wall, which is my wall in my bedroom, and it's shooting onto the wall back out into the diffusion sheet. So this is called book lighting. I use this technique for the entire shoot. Book lighting is a very cool technique. It's basically where you bounce the light and then shoot it back into a piece of diffusion. It gives a really soft, pleasing look, and it's really nice. Shane Hurlbut uses this a lot in his cinematography. He does Need for Speed. No. Yes. He's pretty reputable DP, but yeah, he uses book lighting a lot. And then I just have this flag right here, you can see in the shot, flagging off some of like the bed. Also, sorry, there's no bed sheet on there. I was washing it while I was doing this. But anyways, there's, yeah, so there's a little flag. It's kind of just catching this light that's at the bottom and dampening it so it doesn't hit the bed so much, because while it was hitting the bed, it was getting really hot, and I didn't want that hot spot on the bed. I just wanted nice, even, flat lighting, not flat lighting, soft lighting on my subject, which was me. This whole thing was shot on a tripod. I did shoot it in 16:9, and then I actually edited the video in a CinemaScope 2.39:1 or 2.35:1, one of the two. So I did have some wiggle room up and down to play with a tilt. I tilted up in this shot just to give myself a little bit more headroom so you could see what was going on. Then I walk off frame, and as simple as this, I open the door to my bathroom, and that's what allows that light to spill in onto the other door. And then I close the door of the bathroom, and that's where the light goes away. So very simple. I just wanted to make that little light leak into the scene, and I think I did a pretty good job of that. Moving on to this next shot. So typically I like to have depth in my scene, and one of the best ways to do that is to shoot shadow side of your subject. So if your light is coming from here, then you want your camera to be over here. So the light is basically, your subject is in between the light and the camera. In this case scenario, I didn't have enough room in my bathroom, unfortunately, so I did have to shoot the same side as my light. It still, I think, turned out pretty nice, and it looks pretty three-dimensional. The real look I was going for in this shoot was basically like really, really early morning, crack of dawn, 4 a.m., getting up for work. So everything is pretty much lit by like one lamp in the corner of the room. For this shot, again, I basically just set up the Godox SL60, Godox, I don't know, 60W, and shot it into a bounce board, I guess. It was literally just a piece of like flimsy cardboard, white flimsy cardboard that I bought at Michael's, I think. And then that was bouncing into a sheet of diffusion and into the bathroom. As you can tell, I was very cramped. My house is not very big, so I didn't have too much room, but I was going for this like like clinical kind of flat look that most bathrooms would have. I know there is quite a bit of three-dimensionality with shadow in this shot, but I basically wanted to make it look pretty flat. And then the walls were purple. We have purple walls in our bathroom, so I just kind of removed that saturation in the purple walls. I wanted them to look more gray. Also, by the way, if you were wondering how I graded this, I graded the entire video with a power grade called Cineprint 16, I believe. It's a paid power grade. I forget who made it, but I'll link it in the description below. It is like, I think 50 or 60 bucks, but it's for DaVinci Resolve, and it's a really great power grade. It gives you a lot of flexibility, and there's a ton of nodes that you can play with, and overall, I like it, and it gives a nice film look to the footage, in my opinion. The shot of the sink is the same exact lighting setup. I just kept it the same exact way and tilted my tripod down. This one looks a little bit more flat, more of that like clinical look that I was going for, mainly because the bowl of the sink is white, and so the light is bouncing around and whatnot. But yeah, I just kept it the exact same way. I also did do sound design for this entire video. I went on Pixabay, something like that, and just found free stock sound effects that I used for this entire video. So if you're interested in free stuff, I'm pretty sure Pixabay, one of the two. I don't remember exactly what it's called. I'll link that down in the description as well. They have free stock sound effects, so I think they did a good job with those as well, because I think the sound design in this video turned out pretty well. Every single sound that you hear in this video is a sound effect. I didn't record anything on site because I was filming by myself. So the next shot as well, you can see I did a tilt down. That was because I shot in 16:9 and then edited in CinemaScope, so I was able to use some of that headroom to just tilt down and pretend like there was an actual camera operator, even though everything was just shot on a tripod. Again, this shot was lit by one light. It was the Godox SL60W, shot into that bounce board, back into the piece of diffusion. You're probably noticing a pattern. Everything was shot with book lighting, one exact setup. This is cool. This is the power of just one light. You can get cinematic footage with just one light. Depending on your scene, of course, but yeah, this was all done with one light, and I basically just shot it through the hallway into the kitchen and walked into frame, and I thought it looked really good. I think this is probably my favorite shot of the entire sequence. Now, this was the only shot here where I'm pouring the tea that I actually had a second light. So I still had that book lighting set up, the same from the last shot, but in this shot, I wasn't really able to get the cup to show any detail because the light wasn't really wrapping inside the cup because the light was coming from the side, and the cup obviously is more of top down. I needed more top down light. So I just took one of these that's lighting me back here. It's a Neewer CN160 LED light. It's probably like 30 bucks on Amazon at this point. I shot it up into the white ceiling that I have in my kitchen, and it just gave a little bit of fill into the mug that was on the counter as I poured the water in. I looked up as I was shooting this. I know I didn't use the Keurig to fill the cup, but I saw this like really awesome grungy kind of dirtiness to the Keurig. We don't clean our Keurig very often, apparently. So I just tilted my camera up and got a nice shot of the Keurig while the water was pouring, or at least while the sound effect of the water was happening. And I thought this looked really nice. Same exact setup, book lighting. I didn't move it from that shot of me in the kitchen. And then this next shot, as I was steeping the tea, quote unquote steeping the tea, I used the same exact lighting as I did in the previous shot. It was just the book lighting from earlier that was shooting through the hallway into the kitchen, but I did put the stainless steel, or I don't know what it is, metal, aluminum, whatever it is, pitcher or kettle behind the cup, just to give this like sheer line. There's like a defined line where the light is hitting it, and I love that. Right in the background on the right hand side, I thought that added some nice three-dimensionality to it, and we kind of get this light pattern of light dark, and I think that looks just great. Then I went outside, and you guessed it, the same exact light setup, book lighting. So I took my SL60W, I shot it into that piece of really cheap cardboard, the white cardboard piece, bounced it off of that into my diffusion, and sat at the table, set up this little scene with my pipe and my tobacco, put the cup down, and that was it. That was that was the lighting setup. All these lighting setups, like I said, are very, very simple. This shot of the pipe, same exact thing. I took focus and I stuffed my pipe with tobacco with the same lighting setup as before. This shot of me actually lighting the pipe. Obviously there is another light in the scene. It is the lighter, but outside of that, it's lit by, again, the same book light that I had in the previous shot. And then in this shot, I did have just a little bit of background light. So I did have the book light still going on, and the background was just a little bit too dark because I did shoot this at like 3 or 4 a.m. So I just kind of waved my hand in front of our shed, which has a motion sensor in front of it, and the light turned on in the background, and I just had like this little spill of light in the background just so it brightens up the scene a little bit. It's not so dark and gross. It actually kind of looks like maybe it's morning time, even though I shot it at 3 a.m. And that's it. That's the whole video. That's how I made this video. 1 light, 2 lights for that one shot, but 1 light, 1 piece of diffusion, 1 bounce board that I bought from Michael's. I don't really remember. It was a craft store of some sort, but it was probably like $2, you know? So bounce board, clamp, light stand, SL60W, and a piece of diffusion. That's the whole lighting setup, under $200, and I lit this whole thing that way. So if you think that you can't light things well, you are wrong, because of course everyone has $200 lying around. Obviously not, but save up your money. If you can afford to spend $200, you can get lighting that looks just like this, which I think looks pretty freaking good. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down, obviously, and tell me in the comments why I suck and why I smell like shit. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, but that's gonna do it for this one. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.